And welcome back, everybody, to On the Heater. I'm your host, Ben Martinez. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Please like, share, subscribe with your friends. Anyone that's going to be in Vegas this week, anyone that's anywhere that can make a bet, let them know what's going on with this video. I got some fantastic plays for you guys this week. I'm going to chop this up into two videos. This first one, we're going to talk about Green Bay versus Tampa Bay. Battle of the Pigs, baby. And I got an over for you guys or under for you guys. I guess I gave that one away. I got a line for you guys of who I like between the Packers and the Buccaneers at 3.5. I got two fantastic prop bets for you, and these prop bets are really high on my list for love. Pretty much, it's not my favorite bet, but it's definitely second best, and I'll tell you why I like it a lot later on. And I also have a first quarter bet for you guys too, just following a trend that just seems to go down this road that seems like it's going to be easy money here. So again, before we start, please like, share, subscribe, let your friends know, hit that bell for me. So here we go. First game, Packers, Buccaneers. And quite honestly, I'm just going to jump right out and start. Let's talk about the Packers offense versus the Buccaneers defense. And man, what hasn't been said already this week? If you're watching any videos here or there, everybody is foaming over how much they love this Buccaneers defense. Quite honestly, I'm actually gonna kind of dodge this one here, go the different way. Kind of explain to you guys why I'm not in love with this Buccaneers defense at all, even though they are ranked fifth in DVOA going into this game here, and even number one against the rush. But quite honestly, I think it's fool's gold here, everybody. Please don't fall into this trap. And let me tell you why. They're going against an offense who is number one across the board. Number one pass, number one rush in this Green Bay Packers. And on top of that, when those defensive linemen are lining up looking across the way, they're going to be looking through the eyes of Aaron Rodgers. And yes, the Buccaneers dominated the Packers in the matchup earlier this year. But quite honestly, again, if you want to go back and look how much the Saints dominated the Buccaneers in the beginning of the year as well, throw that game out the door. Both those teams learned what they need to learn for this matchup coming up this weekend. So, just again, quickly, I'm going to go over how I feel about this defense with the Buccaneers. I'm not in love with this line, even though they're getting Villa back, who's been out since week 5 with a broken ankle. What kind of condition is he going to be in coming into a game that's going to be played in probably 28-degree weather, and going against the number one rush defense or offense in the NFL? Quite honestly, I'm not sold on the defense of the Buccaneers, but I'm also really not sold that much on the Packers offensive line, even to a certain degree. But what they've done against the LA Rams last week, and the way that they dominated the number one defense in the NFL, granted, yes, Aaron Donald was hurt, but they were able to just throw all over the field on that defense, who Jalen Ramsey just couldn't do anything about it. He needed more help back there. Devontae Adams had a fantastic game. But again, I think that before I go off keel there, before I talk about anything else, I think this battle is definitely going to come down to whether this offensive line can stop this defensive line. And I think the thing that everybody loves about this Buccaneers defense, without really looking at the numbers here, is that everybody's in love with the names on this team. And when you talk about this front eight for the Buccaneers, you're talking about names like Pierre Paul, Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett, and quite honestly, I'm not. They've been great, but even if you look at the rankings there on them individually, they haven't been performing up to par there. And quite honestly, if you want to go back all the way back right before they lost to the Chiefs, they really haven't been challenged even to a certain degree. And quite honestly, I mean, they were in trouble there for a while against that Washington football team, who played a backup quarterback in Tyler Hickley, and it's not going to be Tyler that they're going to be staring at. They're going to be staring at across the way at the MVP of this season, in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers. And quite honestly, I think this Packers offense, who has great weapons, not as good as the Buccaneers, but great weapons, and Devontae Adams, who I think is the number one wide receiver in the NFL, a great one-two punch in the backfield with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, and a tight end who's just come out of nowhere, and Robert Tunyon, who's done a fantastic job as well. I'm not really big on Lazard or Valene Scantling, who I think they kind of both have cement hands for uh, to catch balls. It kind of scares me away on that. But anyways, I just feel that this Packers offense will dominate this Buccaneers defense across the way. So I like the Packers to score in the 30s here against this defense, even this cold weather. But I'll talk about that later. Now, on the flip side of this, we have a Packers defense who's just been absolutely awful as well. They don't even rank in the top 20, I believe, in DVOA. And we have a Buccaneers offense who's coming in here just scorching hot. Again, you could go all the way back about a month, 2 months to about 2.5 months, and this offense has just absolutely put up numbers, absolutely put up huge numbers against everything that's coming their way. And granted, again, they've had some easy matchups there towards the end of the year, but against uh, uh, a Washington defense who's fairly highly ranked there, they had they had no problem on the offensive end putting up points. And again, they put 30 up against the Saints defense, who was ranked number 2, right behind the Rams there in DVOA. So I can't see how this Packers offense or Packers defense is going to stop this Buccaneers offense. Even though today they announced Antonio Brown's going to be out, but quite honestly, Scotty Miller and Cameron Braid have done an absolutely fantastic job before Brown was here, and even they even put up. I guess Scotty Miller only had really one catch, but Tyler Braid had a fantastic game against the Saints. So again, a weak defensive line for the Packers. I don't really necessarily like their secondary all that much either. And with Godwin, Evans, and Brate running around out there, I think they're going to have a field day. Brady's going to have an absolute field day with this, playing against this defense. And Leonard Fournette just looks like a new guy, new play. I don't even know where this playoff Lenny. I don't know where this guy came from, but he's absolutely killing it in the air and on the ground. So again, high points here. Again, I see the Buccaneers scoring in the high 20s here, and quite honestly, I don't see how either of these defenses are going to slow down either of these offenses. And I think this is going to be a higher scoring game than even the Chiefs and Buffalo game. So I'm going to just give you my prediction for the game. I had the Packers winning 31-28. So obviously I'm taking the over here, which is my number one absolute love. I love this over. It's at 51.5 right now, but I have obviously 31-28, which puts it at 59 points. I also really like the Buccaneers plus 3.5. I think this game is going to come down to a field goal. And quite honestly, whoever holds it last is going to win this game. And quite honestly, this score might flip. Maybe it'll be the Buccaneers 31-28. But either way, I see this game as being a 3-point game. Field goal wins it. Last drive, it's either Rodgers or Brady bringing their team back from tied and just absolutely just getting that field goal up and winning. I think a kind of a good bet too, and maybe betting whether this game will go into overtime or not. That very well could be as well, and I think that's usually at like plus 900 there. I mean, a little $50 bet there. I think it sounds pretty good to me. But anyways, my favorite prop bet for this game is Cameron Brate over 2.5 receptions, and I do like his over yard as well at 27.5. Both of those lines I got from DraftKings are both at minus 134. So even DraftKings is kind of telling you this is probably the bet to take, and No Antonio Brown, who was announced out today. Cameron Brate's just been an absolute beast these past 2 weeks, and Gronk's production, though he's been though he's been playing more snaps than Brate, he's been in more for blocking, where Brate has been in more for catching. And Brate last week was 5 for 5 with 50 yards and where did I put that? And and Gronk the last 2 weeks in the both of these playoff games has one reception with 6 targets for 14 yards. So go ahead, you tell me who you think Brady's is loving right here. And so going into this game, I think there's going to be a lot of times where even if it's cold, maybe they're not going to be able to throw the long ball that well in this weather. I think Bright is going to have a lot of good dink and dunks underneath there. So will Fournette, and I see Bright having about a 4 or 5 reception game this week. He's only been in for 40% of the snaps, but he takes advantage of it, and every time he's on the field, it's usually pass. And I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about, and I really don't know how true this is, but I think it's a pretty reliable source where they believe that the Buccaneers are going to run a lot more two wide receiver, two tight end sets this week with Brown being out, and on top of that, the way that Leonard Fournette's been able to run the ball and probably be able to run the ball pretty well against this below average defense of the Packers. So I think Brate's time on the field will definitely increase. So again, oh, and my last bet. This one I got off of the Betting Predators podcast, and I think it's a fantastic bet. And when I went back to look at the numbers, oh my God, they look fantastic. And it is a bet on the first quarter Packers. You could take the money line if you want, but I still love the Packers minus 1.5 here, first quarter. And the guy that I was listening to, he was talking about how what was his name? His name was McKenzie. No, his name was he's the hitman on the Predators podcast, and he broke it down pretty good how the Packers for the first 15 plays that they script have been fantastic throughout the year, and they even show I've even seen a breakdown of how the Packers look per quarter, and their highest average of points scored is in the first quarter compared to every other quarter, and they're in the positive there. They're also in the positive in the second quarter as well, but just starting out the game, I think it'll be a very strong start for the Packers, especially with this first 15 play script, and they probably will get down and score a touchdown on their first possession, in my opinion. So that was another one that I liked there. I didn't bet that one as high as I did the rest of them, but hey, if you don't believe me, go and look at the numbers for yourself there and how well the Packers have played in that first quarter. So just give you a quick little rundown of each game or each of my bets. I have the over at 51.5. I had the Buccaneers plus 3.5. I have Brate over 2.5 receptions. Brate 27.5 yards. Gronk under 28.5 yards. And I didn't talk about this one, but I'll talk about it real quick. Even if Gronk is in, most of the time they pass to him is in the end zone when they're 5, 6, 7 yards out. He catches the ball. He obviously can't get more than 28 yards per catch. And quite honestly, he's dropped 5 passes in the playoffs so far this year. So they may target Gronk in the end zone for this game this week, but again, that's going to bring his reception yards all the way down. I like that one too a lot. And the last bet is Packers plus 1.5 first quarter. So good luck to you guys this week. I'm excited for this game. I really can't wait to watch it this week because I think this is going to be an absolute just offensive flurries. Probably going along with the snow flurries, but whatever. So again, this has been Ben Martinez. This is On a Heater. Thank you guys. Please again like, share, subscribe with your friends. Hopefully you guys get some good bets in. Comment down below what you guys think about what I said. Let me know how you feel about this game, how you feel about the outcome, and what are your favorite prop bets and plays for this week. Thank you guys.